Hi, I'm Brad Knowles, producer of Friday Night Flies, hosted by Scott LeBoldus and Scotty Holmes. Enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, we're back once again. Friday Night Flies, Zach here at the White River Fly Shop at Bass Pro in Tawasin. As you can see, I got another dead bird in front of me. I've been kind of messing around with these pheasant feathers I've had for quite some time here, and working on some cool old patterns. So today I'm going to do a GP, General Practitioner. Doesn't really need any introduction. It's been around forever. It's a pretty awesome little prawn, shrimp fly. That's great for steelhead and salmon, even sea trout and stuff like that. I like them. So it's one of these patterns I was a little intimidated by. Once you break it down, it's actually a really easy fly. So they don't take too long to go to. I've been kind of messing around with the dressing of it. The actual hackle portion, first couple I did were a little overdressed, I thought. They'll definitely fish, but I thought they were a little heavy. I've kind of sparsed it up a little bit. So I'll show you some little tips and tricks, and again, it's an easy fly. Shouldn't be intimidated by. Goes together quite quickly as well. So let's head on down and check it out. All right, so here it is, the GP. Kind of a really cool fly. One that I've kind of been really interested in for quite some time, and just like I said, been a little intimidated by it, but said screw it, let's put one of these together. So like I said, the first couple were a little heavily dressed down here. Got a couple of tricks that help you sparse it up a little bit. So let's pop it out of the vise and get going. So it's a cool looking fly. So I've got a size 1 hook here. It's a Gamakatsu T10 6H. Big old salmon fly hook. Nice and sharp. And for thread, I'm just using 6/0 Danville in hot orange. So I'm going to start my thread about an eye length back from the eye. I'm just going to wrap back on the bend here. So there's a return bend here like a lot of salmon hooks are. Just going to trim that away. As you can see, there's a little bit of a step there, so that's where I'm going to tie in my Uni French oval medium gold tinsel. So I'm going to tie that in right where that's right on the side where that bump is. That just kind of helps to fill in that gap a little bit. And I'm going to take it back about 2/3 of the way down the hook, and then I'm going to tie it in the rest of the way underneath. And we're just going to take this back to about halfway between the hook point and the barb. So we're almost there. Hopefully that's still in focus. I'll just double check here for you guys. Yeah, it looks good enough to me. So now I've got my thread here. I'm just going to take a few wraps, and we're going to build a little bit of a tag with the gold tinsel here. 1, 2, 3 turns should do. I'm just going to lock that in on the side. I'm going to trim that guy about 1/3 of the length of the body there. I'm going to tie it in on the side, but a little more underneath if I can, just to help reduce some bulk here. So we're going to be tying it in again. Now we're going to add in a little bit of flash for our tail, or the feelers of the prawn. And all I'm going to use is 2 strands of root beer crystal flash, if I can get them out here. It seems to be 3. There's 2. There we go. Like I said, just some root beer crystal flash. You can use orange if you want, pearl if you want. I'm going to tie these in on the side. And 2 on the other side, like so. And you want them to kind of splay out, kind of like that. We're just going to trim them roughly about hook shank in length. There you go, you got that nice V. Now we're going to add in some bucktail. So just got some orange bucktail here. And you can go as heavy or as sparse as you would like. I kind of like to go somewhere in between. Not too heavy, not too light. Trim that away. Get rid of any underfur. And again, a little longer than a hook shank. I'm going to tie that in right on top here. I'm going to trim this to about where that bump is. I'm just going to tidy everything up here. Just like so. And take it all the way back down. Now we're going to add in our eyes, which are just dyed orange golden pheasant tip. And I've already kind of cleaned off the fur on the sides there, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a V, so I'm just going to cut out the middle. So again, you can go as thick or as thin as you like with this stuff. Just going to cut out the middle, and I got a nice V there. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of pinch them, kind of roll them a bit. This kind of pushes a lot of those fibers together, as you can see. I'm going to tie it in so that back stripe is in line with the back of the hook. I'm just going to do a pinching loop here. Tie it in so I got fibers on both sides of the hook, like so. I'm going to trim that to about 1/3 of the hook shank there. And what I'm going to use now is some golden pheasant feathers. So I got this skin here, probably kind of tough to see. But there's on the back here, there's these nice golden colored feathers, obviously where they get the name from. And right up at the top, I'm just going to find one that I like. I'm just going to pluck one. Seems I got two there. So I like to use one of the golden feathers for the top of the mouth here, just because it adds a little bit of contrast. You can use the red breast feathers if you want, but we'll be using those on top later on. So I'm just going to clean up this feather a little bit here. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to pinch it and just kind of roll it. That just kind of pushes everything together a little bit. I'm going to tie that in so it's about the same length as that pheasant tip. Just a couple loose turns, see how it's sitting. I'm just going to mash it with my finger a little bit just to kind of spread those fibers out. Kind of like so. It's not sitting on top, covering everything up. Trim away the stem. Now we can tidy this area up. Hang on. So that's looking pretty good. So that's our back portion of this fly. So again, I got about 2/3 here. So I got a third there, a third in the middle, and a back third. So on the back third here, I'm going to tie in some oval tinsel just on the side again. It's going to be our rib. Just a couple turns. Then I've got some orange floss here. It's a little short. I'm just going to section myself off a chunk here. Just some Danville, 4-strand, orange. You can use whatever you want. Lagerton makes some nice floss as well. Just kind of get all the strands to stick together. Just lick them. I'm going to tie this in on my side. Again, just chase everything down here. There we go. I'm going to take my thread up to the end of that third point. I'm going to wrap my floss up first. Just going to create a nice little body here. This helps with the sparseness of this as well, because the next 2/3 of the hook shank we're going to cover in dubbing. And when you brush this stuff out, I found it added a lot of bulk to the fly. So this is just going to help keep things nice and sparse, like I said. There we go. So I'm about that third mark. I'm just going to tie that off. Use my material clip here to get that out of the way. Just going to trim that off nice and close. Don't need that. Alright, so now I'm going to add in my hackle. So I've got a streamer neck here. This is fluorescent fire orange, which is a really nice color. I'm going to start by taking feathers kind of near the top, maybe a half or 2/3 of the way up the cape here. I'm just going to find one that I like. You can use whatever feathers you like. Just find one with long enough fibers at the back here. So the taper these flies, they're a little bit bigger at this end than they are at the top. So we'll take one that's got some fairly large fibers here. They have a fairly thick stem, so you want to keep that in mind. Kind of just peel back what we don't want there. That'll do. And then I found by wrapping the whole feather, it was actually really thick. So I'm just going to peel off everything off the top half. I'm going to tie it in on the side here. I'm going to trim that stem, that middle third length. Just kind of tidy everything up quick. go. And now I'm going to wrap this away from me. I'm going to get about probably 3 turns to the back. And this is where the wire, or the tinsel, oval tinsel comes in. This is where I trap in my hackle, right at the back. Again, I'm going to do about 3 turns here, just wiggling it through. And I'm going to lock this in on my side, just with a couple turns. Trim that off fairly close. Just going to splay that out, tidy it up. Trim away that hackle. So there we go. So now we got our rear hackle tied in. And I've got my popsicle stick with some Velcro. I'm just going to brush this downwards. So anything that's on top, I'm going to pull it towards me and push it away. Everything goes down. You can trim these fibers, but I find when you make it sparse enough like this, it actually works pretty good. What this is going to do, it's going to create a nice flat platform for our first wing to go in. So this is where you use the red breast feathers on these guys. They're a little bit shorter in length. And we're going to need 3 of them. So if you want to save some time like I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pluck 3 right now. This is something, if you're going to do a bunch of these, this is where you get your, what's the word I'm looking for? Drawing a blank. This is where I'd start just stocking all my materials for this. Production mode is the word I'm looking for. So I got one here. See, they got that nice red on the tips, a little bit brown on the inside there. I'm just going to clear away all this junk. And this I'm going to tie in. Again, I'm just going to give it a little pinch. Just kind of roll it between my fingers, just kind of flatten it out a little bit. And this, I want these red tips to be in line with those first barring marks on the pheasant tippet. Again, just a nice pinching loop right on top. Nice and easy. Just a couple turns. Again, I'm just going to splay it out with my finger. Then you get something kind of like that. It's not really sitting how I like, so I'm just going to undo that. Put it on again. Again, let's see how this is sitting this time. Just a couple turns. There we go. As you can see, that's sitting nice and flat now. That's what we want. Take just a couple turns back. We can trim that away. Lock it down. And I'm going to add in my oval tinsel again, just on my side. Take that up to where we ended off the last section. Just tidy things up a little bit. And this time we're going to add dubbing instead of the floss. So for dubbing, I'm using that seal fur dubbing in the tractor colors again with the orange. I'd almost call it the fluorescent fire orange as well. Because there is a shrimp pink in there as well. It's even a yellow. You can mix this stuff too if you want a little bit more dimension to the fly. I find by using the different colored feathers on top, kind of adds some contrast. I'm just going to dub this on thread. If you haven't used seal dubbing before, it's actually a pretty magical dubbing. It goes on nice and easy, blends well with other colors. You can even add some ice dub to it if you want to add a little bit of flash. And it's super buggy. You'll see that here in a second. Go, gonna add a little bit more. So again, I'm filling up this middle third here. Like I said, this flies a lot easier if you break it into thirds. Helps to have a nice long hook shank too. Makes it easy to kind of get all that stuff going. There we go. Got my dubbing there. Again, going back to my streamer neck. So I'm going to go a little bit further down this time. So we want to build that taper kind of long at the back here and then short at the front. It's a little different than what you would normally do. Let's just find a nice feather here, like this guy. Looks pretty good. Pluck that away. Same thing as last time. Clean off this under fur and take off the fibers on top. And just adding to that sparseness. It's okay to go less here because the second here you'll see this dubbing, we're going to brush it out, and it's going to add a lot of bulk to the fly, a lot of body, a lot of movement. And that I'm just going to lock in. Again, trim it that next third length. Tidy that all up. Again, wrapping away from me here. Again, we're going to get about 3 turns here. It's about 3 there. Again, we're going to continue on with our oval tinsel, trapping this all in. Again, about 3 turns. Like so. Again, trim that about that final third. Kind of pick at it a little bit, it actually thins it out, the tinsel, so it's not as bulky. There we go. Again, trim away that aqua fiber there. Again, we're just going to brush this out. So as you can see, this is adding a little bit more body, a little more movement. This is imitating the legs of the prawns or shrimp. Just like so. Just make it nice and flat on top. If you got any stragglers, you can definitely trim them away. But wasn't going to, but I'll cut that guy there. As you can see, there's our legs there. Now we're going to take another one of those red breast feathers that I've already taken out. We're going to clean it up, just like we did with the last one. Again, just going to pinch it on the sides. Just kind of tighten everything up a little bit there. And this I'm going to tie in. So this time the red tips are going to be right where we started the floss. So they kind of get a little bit shorter each time. Again, once it's on top, get it sitting how we like. Just kind of splay it out with our finger. Trim away, tidy it up. Show you guys what that's looking like now. So there we go. So we're building the shell back now. Looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. Now we're going to finish this guy off. So we're going to add more seal dubbing. So this is the final third. So we're not going to have a rib on this side, or this portion I should say. And we're just going to dub that on. Once you get it started, you can kind of tighten it up. Continue to wrap forward. Some of these longer fibers here, just going to trim those away. Just like so. That's looking pretty good. So I'm going to add one more feather from the streamer neck. So this is going to be more near the bottom. So quite short fibers are what we're looking for here. Nothing too crazy. That guy will do. So you can see this one's quite short. So again, clean up that under fur. Get rid of all the junk. Again, tear away all the fibers from the top. You can prep all these feathers in advance as well. That'll help save some time. Okay, just going to tie that in. Trim away that stem. Now this, we're not going to wrap it backwards. We're just going to wrap it in front here like we would any normal hackle. We're going to get about 2 or 3 turns. Really all we need. Again, nice and sparse. That dubbing is going to help build in the bulk. And we're going to pull all this back. And we're going to wrap back on this. And this is going to help push all those hackle fibers back. Kind of like so. Trim away that stem. You can break it off too if you want. And once again, a handy Velcro. I'm just going to kind of brush that all out like so. And everything's kind of sitting how we want. Got one little straggler fiber there. One last red breast feather here. I'm sure you kind of guessed that. And this guy's going to get tied in right on top. Again, just kind of fold it. Roll the fibers in your hands. You can go a little longer if you like, but again, about halfway up that last station. I'm just going to tie this in right on top. See how that's sitting. That That's sitting pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's trim away the stem. And we're going to build up a little head. As you can see, it goes together pretty quick, pretty easy. Doesn't take much. It's cool like a fly too. A couple of stragglers there. Build up a nice, neat head. Now we can whip finish. Now you can add head cement if you want, super glue. You've seen me kind of playing around with this Solares Ultra Thin lately. It's kind of my new favorite head cement. Kind of because it dries instantly, which is kind of nice. So we're just going to, don't get too much there. Just kind of touch the head on the way around. Don't want to get any on those legs or the dubbing. And quickly just zap it with the light. As you can see, that fluorescent fire orange hackle has some UV properties to it. It's got a pretty cool look. This thing should swim lovely in the water. Give you a little slow roll there. That's the back. That's my side. That's underneath. And there you are, General Practitioner. Let's head on up and sign out. Alright guys, there you have it, the General Practitioner, GP for short. Again, great steelhead and salmon pattern. This is just keen on one of those food sources that they get in the wild, and when they hit the river, sometimes their mind goes a little crazy. So it definitely gets back to that instinct of what they would eat in the wild. So this is the orange variation. They look great in black and purple as well. I don't have any here. We've got the streamer necks in all the colors, so you guys can come on down. We can definitely set you up. But these pheasant skins, man, they're really cool material to work with, so definitely pick them up if you see them in the around. Don't be intimidated by them. There's a lot of good, useful feathers in there as well. So I'll keep plunking around and seeing what I can come up with for you guys. But again, it's one of those flies I was a little intimidated, but once you start tying them and you break it down, they're actually really simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see what we come up with next week for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook page. Follow us on our YouTube channel as well, Friday Night Flies. Hit that subscribe button. That way you get updates when we're going live, which is kind of cool. And when we post new videos, we're starting to do a lot more tutorials and things like that as well, how-to videos. So we're definitely willing to help you guys out. Hit us up on our Facebook page with any pattern requests that you're kind of struggling with or would like to see. We got a few requests about a month or so ago from you guys, so we're going to definitely do our best to knock those out. Yeah, if you got any questions, please just hit us up. You can email us, pros@fridaynightflies.com. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.